What's going on? My name's Han. This is part 2 of my Schierke character analysis. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll leave a couple links so you can check that out. But with that out of the way, let's just get right into it. When we last left our girl, Schierke was finally starting to feel like she found somewhere where she belongs. She accepted Farnese as her apprentice, and the group as a whole was becoming a lot more tight-knit. This was the turning point where she really started to realize just how capable she actually is. Farnese's training begins with Schierke explaining that the first thing she has to learn is visualization. Magic comes from the astral world, which is a world of thought. A world not only of sight and sound, but of mind, for you Twilight Zone fans out there. Schierke also tells Farnese about astral projection and the concept of the luminous body. If I had to guess, Miura was probably inspired by Plato's idea of forms, where everything that exists or can be imagined is actually an imperfect copy of its ethereal, perfect form. Basically, there's a perfect form for everything that exists in the realm of ideas, and the reality we perceive is made up of shadows of what that thing's essential form is. I'm not going to go much more into it. It's been a while since my philosophy class, but that's the basics. After her lesson, Farnese says she has something she needs to take care of, where she leaves with Serpico and leaves Schierke to watch Casca. Schierke gives Casca a bath, but kind of has a hard time of it since that job's normally Farnese's. Schierke, both lacking in experience in this department and being about half Casca's size, makes it difficult to keep her under control. Isidro very kindly offers to help bathe Casca, but for some reason Schierke just doesn't want to accept his generous offer. Later, Isidro and Puck decide to have a King Lemire match between a couple of crabs while they leave Schierke to do all the work. Guts is still in bad shape after the battles that required him to use the Berserker armor, and Schierke takes it upon herself to make him some soup to make him feel better. Serpico comes back and tells everyone that they've found a ship that'll take them to Elfhelm, but he and Farnese will not be joining them on their journey. Serpico also returns the magical items that Schierke gave to him and Farnese, and thanks her for allowing them to use them. Schierke is taken aback by this strange development. It just doesn't make sense that Farnese would be so excited to learn magic, only to abandon her new teacher and friends after all they've been through. Schierke senses that something's wrong, and she receives a vision of Farnese's sad face from Serpico's mind. It's revealed that Farnese's motives were in the interest of her friends. She agreed to marry a naval officer named Roderick in exchange for taking them on their journey. The team decides that Farnese is more valuable to them than the ship, so they decide to go and try to get her back. Farnese is attending a party held by her aristocratic family, and the Funky Bunch sneaks in to try to find her. A strange fog rolls in, and Schierke senses a sinister presence in it. The same presence that she felt the last time they were attacked by the Kushan sorcerers, on the beach using those dumb crocodile monsters, and in the fog they see a fleeting image of a tiger-like creature. They run into Serpico and tell him that they've come to get Farnese back, only for him to tell him that he won't allow that. Then, the long-awaited rematch between Guts and Serpico goes down. Serpico reveals that his reason for trying to stop them from bringing Farnese back is to protect her from Guts' Berserk state, which is kind of understandable. Guts emerges victorious, and Schierke runs over to Serpico, reassuring him that she will never allow Guts to lose control and put Farnese in danger again. This is where we see just how close Schierke and Farnese are becoming as well. Schierke's relationship with Farnese is becoming almost as close as her relationship with Guts. It's at this point that they remember the tiger creature that they saw stalking the grounds and realize that Farnese and the partygoers are in danger. Schierke smiles and returns the enchanted cloak and feather sword to Serpico, and the Sylphs are happy to be reunited with him. We cut to the party where the strange tiger creature bursts through a window and starts ripping guests to shreds. This is where we start to see the fruits of Schierke's training of Farnese. Farnese immediately recognizes that this creature is tied to the astral world, and that she can use the silver candelabrum against it. Seeing Farnese's quick thinking and action shocks her family, because this is not how the Farnese of the past would have acted. This goes to show just how much of an impact Schierke had on Farnese, and vice versa. Schierke's tutelage of Farnese is also a huge confidence booster to Schierke herself. The group makes it to the ballroom, and Guts makes quick work of the tiger creature, only to find out that there's plenty more where that came from. Schierke then uses her magic to sense the location of the Kushan sorcerers who are controlling the beast, but they must deal with the attacking creatures first. Next, Schierke pulls out another spell from her literal bag of tricks. She reveals that she's created some new familiars in the form of thorned vines that resemble snakes. Schierke entrusts these new familiars to her pupil, and Farnese is able to control them right away and use them to subdue one of the monsters. Farnese takes charge and tells Roderick he needs to use something made of silver to kill the beast, so he uses one of the candelabra to stab it in the head. Serpico finds the Kushan sorcerers and kills them, causing the tigers to lose interest in killing everyone. Schierke uses a spell to freeze the monsters in place, and Farnese comes to realize that she doesn't want to be back in her old, sheltered life with her family. Farnese's father refuses to believe that any of the supernatural things everyone just witnessed actually happened, and called them illusions. Guts and Schierke sense something's wrong, and that's when Vape God himself, Ganishka, shows up. It's at this point they realize how bad things actually are, as they see fires all over the place and even more supernatural creatures, including the big dumb crocodiles, launching a full-scale assault on the city. There's also some strange humanoid monsters in the fray that have never been seen before. Roderick, who actually turns out to be kind of a cool guy, tells everyone he'll take Farnese and her friends to Elfhelm himself. The battle ensues with Guts and his team cutting down the monsters easily. Hell, even Isidro gets some good hits in. Farnese uses her new snake familiars to bind some of the humanoids as well. Schierke then remembers the vision that Sonia projected into her mind and realizes that her prophecy has come to fruition. One of those biggerer, dumberer monsters shows up, the kind that required Guts to use the Berserker armor to defeat on the beach. Guts tells everyone that he'll handle the big one, but if push comes to shove, he'll need Schierke to bring him back to his senses. Schierke shows off a little badassness by rescuing the new joke character, Magnifico, and telling him, just stay behind me. Guts goes to fight the creature, and despite being knocked around quite a bit, he's able to kill it without going berserk. Schierke tells everyone that something's wrong. With all the chaos of the battle, she didn't sense the enormous wicked odd that was permeating the air. A full-scale invasion of thousands of those strange creatures ensues, and Guts realizes that he's going to need the Berserker armor to stand a chance. Schierke warns him not to take this so lightly, because she knows how much this is going to affect his body, and we see the genuine emotion she feels for Guts' safety. She senses another powerful presence, and decides to go into astral form to try to figure out what's going on. She almost loses herself in the chaos of the evil odd, but her memory of Guts calling her their girl back in the pub gives her the motivation to succeed. It's this stuff that really makes me like Berserk so much. Schierke shows off just how fucking OP she actually is by managing to summon the spirit of fire to roast all of the monsters to ash. She then regains consciousness from her trance, with her first thought being the safety of her friends. Guts tells her that everyone's fine and she did a good job. Kind of an understatement if you ask me. No, seriously, how is this little girl so cool? About 4 more of the biggerer, dumberer monsters show up. Okay, full disclosure. I called that first one on the beach a biggerer, dumberer monster in the first part because I kind of forgot there were more of them and that was just going to be like a one-time joke. And I kind of wish I came up with a better name, but now I'm in too deep to change it, so I'm just going to roll with it. Schierke's too exhausted from her last spell to do anything now, so you know what that means. Guts goes berserk on the BDMs. There we go. They're called BDMs from now on. Not to be confused with BDN, because they don't seem to care about things being nice and flashy. Shout out to anyone who gets the reference. Then we get this badass shot of Guts. Schierke, in her astral form, finds herself clinging to Guts' back and looking into the inner turmoil of his mind. Schierke senses the leader of the Kushan sorcerers who's controlling the BDMs, and Guts is about to attack him. Schierke knows that's a bad idea, but Guts in his current state can't be stopped. The wizard then summons a water spout, pulling Guts towards the water. Schierke does everything she can to reach Guts and pull him back to his senses. Guts then uses his sword as an airfoil to direct his fall, and Serpico, with his keen observation skills and tactical genius, realizes that Guts did that intentionally and was now in control. This is Guts at his most powerful state. He has all the power of the Berserker armor, but still maintains his sanity, and it's all thanks to Schierke. The wizard decides to send one of the water spouts towards Guts' allies, but Guts is able to deflect it with his sword, showing that he truly is in control. Guts realizes how much Schierke has actually done, and calls her one hell of a caster. Schierke, still with Guts in her astral form, smiles and says, "You're welcome." This is a nice callback to when Guts called her one hell of a girl during the battle against the trolls. Guts is about to go on the offensive when Schierke senses his anger, and tells him he has to control his emotions so he doesn't lose control again. And he thinks about Casca and the idea of killing her in his fit of berserker rage. Guts and Serpico attack together as Schierke keeps Guts from losing it again. The wizard manages to dodge all of Guts and Serpico's attacks, but lo and behold, Isidro comes to the rescue, throwing one of Rickard's grenades right into the sorcerer's back. Everything was looking good until the wizard summoned some kind of amorphous giant snake creature. Schierke is able to sense that the creature's true body is a smaller snake in the middle of the giant's body, and directs Guts and Serpico where to attack. They're unable to land a blow on the creature, so Schierke concocts a risky plan, and we see just how much trust has been built up between Guts and Schierke. Schierke's plan is to summon the fire spirit again and use it to imbue the dragon slayer with fire. With the help of the best girl again, Guts finally destroys the giant snake. The wizard realizes that he can't win, so he decides to fuck right off while riding a fucking pterodactyl. With the sorcerer defeated, everyone breathes a sigh of relief, except for Schierke. She realizes just how dangerous that plan actually was, and never wants to do that again for fear of Guts' safety. Again, we see Guts and Schierke becoming closer. They think it's all over, but here comes Vape God to ruin everybody's fun. Vape God attacks Guts and Serpico with a lightning attack, and they just barely avoid the first strike, only for Guts and Schierke to take a direct hit from the second one. The lightning shocks Schierke out of her astral form, and she returns to her body, leaving Guts alone. Ganishka, seeing how badass Guts is, and that he also has a grudge against Griffith, asks Guts to join him. Guts is amused by the offer, but responds saying he couldn't care less about a feud between monsters. Things are looking bad, but then here comes Zod to unruin everybody's day. Zod just so happens to have the same goal of stopping Ganishka. He attacks, only to be hit by lightning. Zod keeps flying right through Ganishka's body, but seeing how he's kinda made of clouds, no damage is dealt. Guts jumps on Zod's back and tells him that they have to work together to take him down. Schierke tells Guts that Ganishka can't be injured by regular arms, but luckily the Dragon Slayer, with all the monsters it's cut down over the years, has gained the ability to deal damage to astral beings. Guts puts his sword to Zod's throat and tells him to fly, and that the duel between Guts and Zod can wait. Schierke senses Ganishka's weak point is right between his eyes, and she directs Guts where to attack. We then see one of the most badass shots of the entire series, with Guts riding on Zod's back, flying right through Vape God's forehead, while charged with electricity. This finally stops the cloud form of Ganishka. Zod, realizing that he could easily kill Guts in his current condition, decides to let him live, so that next time they fight, he'll be at full strength. Another apostle from Zod's army disagrees, and goes in on Guts, only to be killed by Zod. This time, it's finally over, and the group finds a small boat that they can take to one of the ships. And somehow, Azan just so happens to be sleeping in that boat. How he slept through all that chaos is beyond me. I feel that this is a good place to stop part 2. The next bunch of chapters are all Griffith stuff, and then the next part that Schierke's involved in is the legendary boat arc. So yeah, if you actually made it through this whole video, thanks. I really appreciate it. Please rate and subscribe if you want more. At time of recording, the news just broke that the next chapter of Berserk, chapter 360, is finally coming out, and I definitely plan to make some more videos on Berserk, so yeah, just keep an eye out, and again, thanks for watching.